Over the last few years, fantasy football has become one of the more popular activities for people to do. Thanks to the popularity of the NFL and its players, many people are participating in online fantasy football. Nate Hunt has been playing fantasy football for a while now.
I enjoy fantasy football mainly because it's a way for me to keep in touch with my friends at home. I have 3 different leagues, one of which is just my friends here pretty much, but the other ones are mixed. So it's a good way to keep in touch with my friends. And then another thing is I just like fantasy football, like regular football in general. So fantasy is just a way to keep track of the stats.
I enjoy playing fantasy football. I think it's really fun to do. It helps me keep track of football, not only my favorite team, I'm an Eagles fan, but it helps me keep track of other teams in the league too. And it's a fun thing to do with friends, just competitive fun.
93% of the people who participate are white males.
Has to do with women not really being interested in football as much. Football's always been a thing that men tend to enjoy, so they'll follow more than women. Women tend to have different hobbies than men, so men tend to favor football, so they favor fantasy football more. In terms of the color issue, though, I think that a lot of it has to do with where a lot of fantasy football leagues are played, and a lot of them start them up in offices, like white-collar offices in areas like that, and a lot of those type of places, especially in suburbs or areas like outside of the big cities, is where a lot of the predominantly white and Caucasian people tend to be and tend to work. So that's why it's popular there. And I also don't think the NFL does a very good job of marketing their minority athletes. If you look at the NBA, for example, the 2 most marketable people in the NBA are arguably LeBron and Kobe, and they're in posters everywhere across America and commercials. But you think about the NFL, you have Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, but you really can't find a minority athlete of the same magnitude. You could say Donovan McNabb or LaDainian Tomlinson, but it's not to the same effect that Peyton Manning or Tom Brady are. So I think that has a lot to do with it. People tend to find familiarity with people of their own color, and I think that if there was a person of color, a person that's a minority, that was marketed with the same magnitude that Peyton Manning or Tom Brady was, you would see more minorities playing fantasy football and being interested in football.
Nate is one of the few people that I can say that they have actually competed against a female in fantasy football.
I think it's good that some girls get involved. I think it's good for the NFL because that way, it's a broader fan base, and it's a way for them to market to just different people everywhere.
But the question remains, why do African Americans not participate in fantasy football?
Maybe if they had some sort of a system where they picked a player to market the same way that like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady are marketed, then those are small steps that can definitely show success if implemented properly throughout the years.